Hi, Becky.
Hey, Stephen.
So what'd you learn from the elevator folks?
I believe we have a leak
And the reason?
because I'm totally infested with flies that are coming out of the elevator just as we were the last time we had a leak. Just anecdotally, but then I'll put the picture on. But the good news is we got the elevator working. Not working, but we got it past it. They came back and did the work they needed to get it past inspection.
Right.
The lift we're still waiting on.
I'm sorry, you said the lift?
Yeah, the contraption at the
Oh, as you come in the front door, town hall?
yeah, that's elevator number two officially.
Got it.
Yeah.
Hi, Frank.
Hey, hey,
Hey, Frank.
hey.
Anna might have, did she send that email to everybody that she would?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I have to get my pictures off my phone onto my computer.
So Frank, I forgot, how was the event in Orange, the Garlic Festival?
That was wonderful. I did very well. Four Crocs found homes, which was
Oh,
very
good.
special. Yeah, and a bunch of other sales. It
Um,
was a good. We very wet to getting up to there. It was so much rain,
right.
and they had no parking in the fields because it was so wet. They had to bus people in from another spot, which they use anyway for the overflow. But the Garlic and Arts Festival was a huge success. Sunday, I had a bunch of friends visit and they couldn't get into my booth. So I thought that was pretty funny because it was so crowded. It
Wow.
was a beautiful, beautiful day Sunday. So we'll look forward again until next year. My next one will be at the Wendell Town Hall Craft Fair. So I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
That's for the friends of the library. Hey, Jeff.
Am
Well,
I breaking up or is that somebody else?
we have a quorum. I don't know if Steve's going to make it tonight or not, but
I
we have
just
a
passed him and
quorum.
waved. He was cutting his grass. So hopefully he's done by now.
I'll remind you. Let me just check.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hi, Jeff.
Right.
While we're waiting, Stephen, I have a question.
Okay.
I wasn't part of the meeting with the architects. Why are they stepping the roof eave down and going from standing seam to flat seam? Is that an architectural detail for
I
aesthetic?
think it's so there's where they're stepping it down just at the point that it gets to the edge of the building, so they don't need that 7 inches of insulation.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
And they felt that if you brought that to the edge, it makes for a very very bulky looking edge, perimeter edge.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the rationale.
Okay. So that detail will be on the VE list. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the VE list?
Value engineering, another way of saying take some money out of the project.
Okay.
Budgeting. It's a budget thing.
It's a budget thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a term that construction managers and everybody throws around, but it really means you can't afford it, so we're going to make it cheaper.
Right. Well, do you think doing that makes it cheaper or more expensive?
I think it makes it more expensive when I saw that detail. There's a lot of pieces parts, and I did not like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you
He's
have?
on his way, probably 30 seconds.
Oh, well, we'll wait 30 seconds.
Hope he was accurate. Okay. Shoot.
The sun sets at 5:53. It's catching up.
So in what, 1 or 2 weeks, it'll be 4:53, but
Yes.
actually earlier.
Not this weekend, but next weekend we turn back.
Right.
Yeah.
We turn back. Yeah.
Spring forward, fall back.
Right.
Fall back. I just don't miss when I was in corporate going to all the darkness,
Right.
going to work and coming home in darkness. So
Yeah.
it's all good. It's a long 30 seconds.
All right. Well, at 5.
But we're waiting. Can I ask a question? I keep hearing people breaking up. Do you think I'm going bad, or do other people hear everybody's breaking up?
Well, I hear you okay.
I hear you okay.
I hear Jeff
And I,
okay.
and I heard you break up, Becky.
Oh,
heard me
yeah.
break-
Now I heard you break up, Becky. But
Okay, 'cause
everyone
I'm
else seems
hearing
clear.
fine. Okay.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah, weeks. Try to get it on a better.
Well, at 5:35, I'm going to call this meeting to order.
Yep.
Currently, we've got Frank McGinn, Jeff Quackenbush, and Stephen Dalmas, and we're hoping to see Steve Sullivan shortly, as well as in ex officio Becky Torres.
This is
And
so weird because you guys keep freezing up.
No, you're free. You're the only one freezing up, Becky. It's that town hall issue.
But usually I totally freeze up, but I didn't crash. It just went part way and then came back.
You froze up on our line. So
Yeah, you're okay at the moment.
I guess I should put it on my phone.
just in case, as an extra.
Okay, so we have the minutes from October the 4th. I've taken a look at those. Jeff, have you had an opportunity?
Yeah, I didn't see any issues.
Okay. Frank?
Yep, I'm fine.
So do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from October the 4th?
I make a motion to accept the minutes from the 4th.
Second?
I will second.
Roll call vote. McGinn?
Aye.
Quackenbush?
Aye.
Dalmas, aye. Okay. Moving on. So Jeff, I was wondering if you had an opportunity to touch base with the architect in Greenfield about the project at the elementary school?
No, I haven't, but I was kind of waiting. I thought we were going to get bigger drawings.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, I think I requested them.
Yeah, and I wanted to look at those drawings before I contacted the architects in case they started asking me questions and I wouldn't be able to answer them.
Yeah, it was still, I remember listening to the minutes. Yeah, still, we were supposed to request them, so still waiting on those large plans. We were going to get 4 or 6, something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve.
Yes. Oh,
the other
hi,
Steve. Steven.
Right.
So who's going to contact
I
Dave?
will
Okay. All right.
work on that now, but I'm just putting up some I'm going to put up some photos of the elevator shaft.
Oh, good.
What can I do? Well, I'll just have to do it this way. Here. Right. So it's I have another picture that goes up higher, but you can see that it's just it's the where the white is bleeding through. I believe it is where the leak is again. The last time we had a leak, it was at the top coming down, but this seems to be much lower down, about 6 or 8 feet lower than the last leak.
So how did they, where are you? And is that a place that we could access?
No, this you can only, I'm in the elevator shaft, standing on top of the elevator.
And is this an exterior corner, outdoor corner, or is this an inside corner?
It's an exterior back corner.
Okay.
So where your cursor is that the back? No, we're not.
Yeah, this is the back.
Okay.
And this is the wall that, I mean, down here, it open. This is the elevator door into that hallway.
So then that's the east side.
Which one's the east side?
Well, it is the east side, yeah.
Yeah. The back, the other one is the south side.
Yeah, southeast side, southeast corner. I can go find the other photo if I can get it to open.
Is the elevator doors open? Is that how you took the picture, or did you go through the crawl space through the roof of the elevator?
The elevator door was open. The other side, it was open halfway.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same picture. Wait a second. That shows the whole perspective. So the first time it was the leak was up here.
What floor are you on when you took this picture?
The second floor.
Okay, so this is way up high.
Yep.
Okay. You think this is roof, or you think this is sidewall water? It's hard to tell the difference.
I think it's the south and east side wall sections.
But the cricket's on the other side, right?
Yep.
Well, that stinks.
Well, the area where when I was up on the roof not too long ago, where they had looked like they had done repairs because the shingles looked to be of a different vintage. That would have been on the east side.
Right.
Yep. And that's when they fixed this leak.
Well, one, you know how the roof, there are two planes there that essentially come down and drain off at the corner. So it would be sort of in that area. I mean, I can't remember how far above and I'm not sure I know where the roof interfaces or terminates at that southeast corner. But one possibility is the water's running down, and as it's draining off of the roof, there's no scupper there or anything. Some of it's possibly getting behind flashing or siding. Who knows? Maybe when they did the repairs, they created a different leak source.
A new path.
Is there any leak in the well of the elevator? I mean, any water in the well of the elevator? Were they able to check that?
I didn't look. I don't believe so, but I didn't intentionally look there.
Okay. Just want to know how bad this leak is because we've had so much rain this year.
Right.
Sounds to me like we need to have a little field trip to the town hall.
Yeah.
And just to warn you, this has caused, and I have some other pictures, there are massive amounts of flies living in the elevator in the upper corners on the west and north and west south corners. There's like cocoons full of flies, and they just swarm the windows during the day. And I vacuum them all up, and they're all back within an hour, and I do it again. But it's really gross. But there's less dead flies in the elevator. But that's the source.
Yep.
Okay.
So if we wanted to take a look at this, how do we do that? I mean, do you have a way of stopping the elevator halfway opening?
I've never climbed up on it when we haven't had the elevator repairman here.
There should be a hatch in there.
Yeah, but I was hoping we could go through the opening instead of the hatch.
Yeah.
So do they say stop the elevator below the level of the door, and then you come through the door onto the top of the elevator?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do the same thing.
And do you know how they do that, Becky?
No, I cannot imitate that sequence of keys and adjustments. No.
They probably don't want people to do that.
No.
Is there a hatch in the top of the elevator
No.
ceiling?
No?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought that was required.
Well, there's a big plate. There's like so you can't see the top of the elevator. There's like a glass or plexiglass plate on the top that all the flies try to hide behind. And then you can't see, it's not easily accessible. Pretty sure.
So there's one plexiglass panel that's the ceiling. I think she's checking.
Should bring her camera. Should bring her computer. Well,
okay, so it's not a plexiglass panel. It's a hanging metal grate.
Mm-hmm.
And and then it's like a solid room ceiling under it with a vent. I don't see, there's no hatchway that I can tell. Are we out of compliance?
No,
Oh,
it could be that certain size elevators require a hatch and certain sizes don't. But I don't know how we're going to get in here to look at this.
But the issue is the leak. I don't know how much more you're going to see than discolored cinder blocks.
Concrete block.
I'd kind of like to see how high it goes.
Well, I mean, if it would be nice to access it, to use a moisture meter on it to see what is physically wet or damp. But
So
certainly the efflorescence, that's the white deposit, suggests something that's been going on for some time, because it takes a period of time to bring the salts through from the block and the mortar. So,
And was that left over from the last leak?
no, because the last leak was, I have old pictures of that somewhere, but it was started at the top.
at the very top.
Yeah.
Top of the shaft.
So then
Yes.
that would have been from the roof on top of the elevator shaft, not from the interface between the lower roof of the addition and the sidewall.
I think when you come and see when you're looking at the shaft from the outside and you measure, I think this is about 6 or 7 feet, and that's another 6 or 7 feet to the top.
From that metal bar?
This up here at the top, going down, this is about 6 or 7 feet, and then from here to here is another 6 or 7 feet. But in November,
we can
the
count
repair, I'm sorry?
You can count the blocks. 3 blocks is 2 feet.
Okay, so I've got 6.
We can see at least 6, and then there's another block above that. So there's
9,
So that's like 5 feet.
12, and 15. I think I see 16 blocks.
Above the jam on your
That's
other
about
picture?
10 feet. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
No, vertically. We're only counting up.
We're okay.
I
Anything above that metal jam above the door is what we're counting. So it's like how many feet above
But
that
I was
metal?
counting. I'm going from here to there.
Well, when you move your cursor, it's all the way down at the bottom of the slot of the photo that we see, like maybe not halfway down on the door, but almost halfway down on the door. Move your cursor up so it's at the top of the door frame, the
metal.
The metal.
The door frame is right here.
Oh, well, then
Okay,
we're
yeah.
not seeing what you're seeing.
Yeah.
No, we're not seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well,
we're
move
only
your
seeing a
cursor.
partial.
Becky, move your cursor. Okay, now go up a little bit with your cursor. More, more, more. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, hold it. Hold it. There.
Right there. Stop.
That's the top of the metal door frame as we see it.
In our picture.
Yeah, the picture that we all see. That's the top of the.
It's just the way it comes over when you're on the. We're only seeing a small picture.
Okay, so
you can't even see where it's leaking.
No, we can see above that. We can see the white efflorescence. We can see, counting from above that, we can see 6 blocks and part of a 7th.
Okay, so wait 1 second. This is that. Can you see it now?
Nope.
Nope. Nothing's changed for us.
Okay, sorry. Oh, I see the picture you're looking at now.
Yeah, okay.
This whole...
Oh, I see. You're looking at the middle picture. Much better. That's good. Yep. 2, 4, 6. There's 8 block going up to that
So each
leak.
block is 8 inches, is that right?
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
So, and then you got the mortar joint.
The mortar joining makes it 8. It's a block is 7 5/8,
Oh, okay.
and the mortar joint's 3/8. So I don't see a stain at the very top of the shaft.
No,
No,
it's starting.
Halfway down.
eight blocks.
So that's 5 feet 4
5
inches.
Yeah, yeah.
Which kind of, wouldn't that be in line with the counter flashing?
Well, given it's at the corner, it would be where the water is coming off of the roof,
Okay.
or maybe higher up, but it's at the corner. So it's either something with the siding and water's getting behind the siding,
Right.
or it's where the water's coming off the roof.
Makes me think we're heading back towards installing that big box we were talked about up there.
Yeah.
Where does the big box go?
On the outside at the end of where the roof meets the elevator.
We talked about a scupper, a collection box with the downspout, so the water doesn't just dump down and hit the concrete and splash all around. I wonder if my 28-foot extension ladder would reach up from the ground to that point, or close enough to look at that a little bit. But I can certainly look at it from on the roof, but I don't like going down a roof to an edge.
Not without tie off.
Right.
It's pretty steep. Well, it's not that bad, I guess. That's kind of steep there.
No, it's actually, if you're on the roof, it's not that steep, but to try and look at the point where the roof ends and the corner, that would be, as Jeff said, unless you had tie-offs.
Yeah, that's not.
You don't want to do that. If you're on a ladder and the ladder's high enough to look at it, then I could go up there with my ladder and see how far it'll reach. Because you got the basement door, and then it might reach.
Because it's probably like 20 feet to. It's probably
Well, if it's 20 feet
up to the top of the elevator.
Well, I couldn't get to the top of the elevator shaft. I certainly couldn't do that. But where the water is coming off, could certainly look at that.
We can back a dump truck up to the building, and then you can put your ladder right in the back of the dump truck.
That sounds like fun.
You get it up another 8 feet.
Yeah.
Fill it full of nice soft sand in case you fall. Well, if you go over, Stephen, give me a call. I'll hold on to that ladder.
Okay.
I also don't mind climbing a ladder.
Okay.
I'm good at that.
I know it won't be, unfortunately, I've got things planned the next several days, so it won't be this week, which would be nice with the weather, but.
You're going to wait till it's nice and cold next week. Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So you have a plan.
Yep. Look at the week of the 30th.
30th of October, 30th of October.
Yeah, that's the last, October, the 29th is a Sunday, the 30th, 31st, and the 30th to the 3rd is next week.
The elevator repairman is coming back in November to do his regular quarterly checkup. So I will find out what day he's coming in. Let you guys.
That would be great.
Yeah,
it's a shame that couldn't have come up today.
Yeah, I probably should have called Jeff. or Frank.
Jeff would have been at the same meeting.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Oh,
On the
I-
same meeting.
Frank, I know Steve
I-
was.
yeah, I wasn't at that meeting, so I was actually in New Hampshire, but that's okay.
Okay, so hopefully we can diagnose that. So item 3, discuss setting up maintenance schedule spreadsheet for each town building. Obviously haven't completed all the inspections, but one of the things that came to my mind is that a lot of the buildings have mini splits now. And each of those has a filter. And then we've got an HRV in Town Hall. We have an HRV in the Spear Library. And there may be some, we haven't done the school yet, although I think the custodian at the school might be the responsible party. But my question is, with all these different filters, we can point out that they need to be clean with some regularity. And when I was briefly at the fire station, I looked at the filter for the one mini split that's in the office as you come in. And I don't know that that's ever been cleaned. I mean, it is disgusting. So, I mentioned it to Lenny, and hopefully he's cleaned it, but do we need to set up a schedule and either go and check periodically to see that people are cleaning them, or is there a person that, will follow a schedule and check the filters and clean them?
No. There
You
is
mean
not
there
such
isn't
a
one?
person.
There's
There's
no
not
person.
such a person.
Okay, so
But we have gotten to the place. I know the library's one has been cleaned and checked. The last 2 years, all the ones in town hall have been cleaned and checked. And the HRV is the one that I haven't gotten done yet, and working with Jamrog on that one.
yeah, because they have the wrong filter. It's not thick enough. It used to be a 2-inch, not a 1-inch.
Yeah.
Well, I know, I mean, I cleaned the HRV filter at the library, and that hadn't been cleaned, I don't think, previously. That was
No, only the mini split. She had, I think they came in and did all of the mini splits. I mean, the town hall and the library one were all done together.
Are you saying they did that 2 years ago?
No, I said they did it each of the last 2 years.
Okay, and then how often do they do it?
Well, we're only doing it once a year right now, unless the department head, like the police chief, I think did it a couple more times. I don't know if Marianne got to it.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you look at the literature on the mini splits, you're supposed to do it every month.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's cleaning, or how often do you replace them?
No, you don't.
Well, they're permanent filters.
Oh, those, okay.
Yeah.
In the mini split head.
Well, I can tell you, having a mini split and, I mean, our environment in our house is pretty clean. Every 3 months, even, I check them every 3 months, and often there's very little buildup on the filters. But I would think that if it was done every 3 months, if they were checked every 3 months,
If they were cleaned every 3 months.
checked and clean, you'd probably be in pretty good shape.
If I was doing good every year, guess not. But I think we need to check. I need to check Steve, highway departments, mini split. I bet that hasn't been.
I looked at it today and I washed it.
Ah,
Okay.
So how did it look pretty filthy?
Yeah.
And do you have a guess as to when was the last time somebody looked at it?
It was probably 2 years ago when we had an issue when we had condensation coming in. So we'll do it a little bit more often now.
Mm-hmm.
I hear there's a new department head. That's good to hear.
Yeah, new sheriff in town.
So Becky, what do you hire Jamrong or PVE to do it?
I had
Good point.
PBE come in and tune it up before, annually I've had them come in because we've had them not function properly during the year. So I try to make sure they're working before we turn all the heaters back on or the air conditioners back on.
Okay.
But I'll talk to Chris O'Neill, who's our town hall custodian. He might be able to add that to his list for town hall and the library. I'll talk to him about that.
Okay.
But I don't have a person for, well, we've got Steve for highway and Lenny will have to learn, I guess.
Okay. Okay, so then we won't set up any kind of spreadsheet or anything for that. We'll just try to get people to become responsible for it. Now, one other building, I don't think we actually have it on our list currently, but the toilet at the base of Randall Road, the composting toilet. You know,
Yeah.
somebody goes in there and quote services it, but the interior, I've looked in there recently, and the walls and ceiling they're just dirty. It's like there's all these, gnats or little bugs that get in there, and it's pretty unattractive. Looks pretty filthy. So, is there somebody that?
It's inspected once a year, and the person comes in and does maintenance on it, checks all the filters and the tank level. I also need to get it pumped. I need to get the septic truck down there to pump it. And as far as the interior, I mean, he usually goes through and hoses everything down when he comes. I guess getting rid of cobwebs. I went and checked it out because I had somebody else say, "Oh, it's the worst it's ever been," but seemed didn't. I don't know. At least when yeah, I think this it won't. It'll probably smell less if I get the septic tank pumped out, and that'll help people's impression. I don't know if I'll talk to Chris, see if he's interested in hosing it down. I don't believe we have water there, so we'd have to take in water to do that. There is water at the lake, so it's not far,
Yeah.
but still.
So, do you know when the company does their yearly service?
It's usually about May.
And they lock it up for the winter, correct?
We lock it up for the winter.
Yeah, so
Chris goes down regularly and takes chips and puts down the chips that he has to put in every month and does
Toilet paper.
through the summer.
yeah. So I
So
think we wait till the spring and have the maintenance on it because it's about to be locked up.
when would it be getting locked up?
If it gets locked up clean, it'll stay clean except
Yeah.
for the spiders.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So I'd just do it in the spring because if it's going to be locked up in the next 30 days, just lock it up and do it in the spring because then it'll have that winter spring grime, and then we can just have a fresh start right off in the spring.
Okay.
So, and it gets locked up sometime in November?
I don't think it's ever locked.
But they block the road though, don't they?
No.
They didn't do
No.
it the last couple of years. They used to put the tree across, but
I
they
remember the
haven't.
tree.
Steve,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but they haven't.
It's been about let's see, John Field was still here. I
Wow, it's
think
like
it was
7 years.
in 2003.
Well, they have the sign at the top of the road that says not maintained in the winter, but someone often actually runs a plow down there. Because we walk that road pretty regularly year round, and people will go down there in their four-wheel drives and spin around and then drive out. But then every once in a while, you can tell someone with a plow has run down there.
Well, I do know that the police and emergency folks get calls in the middle of the winter that some crazy person has decided they're going to drive down to the lake down
Yep.
Randall Road, and they get some distance and then can't get back up to the top. So
Well, that wouldn't
that's where the
surprise me.
clouds come in. And Steve probably can tell stories.
So it was the last time we put the tree across was 2013, because every year somebody was taking their plow truck and pushing the tree out of the way. So we don't bother to put it across anymore, but the sign is back up at the top saying that it's not maintained for winter use. And yeah, people always wait until it's just ice and no snow on there and then try and go down there and come back up.
And then all our emergency personnel have an evening out.
Well, are we waiting till spring then to have it cleaned, or are we waiting? We're gonna do it now. Sounds like
I think wait till spring, because if there's no, well, we could have no snow this winter.
let's wait till spring.
Yeah.
Well, cleaning it out is something that the service does once a year, correct, Becky? Do you know they clean the walls and everything?
Well, I think they sweep it out. There's some effort to make sure there's not dead squirrels and things like that accumulating in there. So
it doesn't sound like they really scrub the walls. And this kind of sounds like a porta potty fix. They come in and they just kind of hose down the inside just to make sure it looks wet.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would tend to question how much they actually do in terms of cleaning the walls.
Exactly.
The few times I've checked it, I haven't found that it smells. I haven't seen any critters in there. The door, while a lot of times it's not fully shut, it's tight enough that it'd be tough for a critter to get in there.
I'm kind of wondering, how do you wash it down if there's no water?
Well, that's why it can't be that great. Why it's not a great job.
Right. Yeah. So.
Well, I was wondering if you just had a pump sprayer, and you got some water from the lake, and you moisten the walls, and then brush, little soap, and then you could moisten the walls again with the pump sprayer, which is just water, and then with a squeegee it down.
This sounds like the perfect project for two guys that live at the lake.
Oh, but it's a weekly job.
We need a third supervisor.
Right.
Jeff.
Yeah, I'll do it from a distance.
Oh, look, there's Jeff on Zoom watching us work.
Yeah, turn your camera so I can see it. Yeah. Oh, you missed a spot.
Right.
Okay, so I will check in with Chris O'Neill, and he's usually been the contact for Clivis, so he can give me a more specific. I used to have a whole pamphlet on everything they did and a write-up of the services, and I don't have that in front of me, so I'll get that so I can be more specific too. But right now, I think we'll see if we can get it cleaned before winter. And if we can't, it will end up in the spring.
Okay.
And we'll have to ask Peter, Sam, when they come to pump the fire station. I'll ask them before they come up to see if they'll go down there and do that.
Yeah, if you would call and ask them to do that, Steve, that would be great. Because I think there was somebody, they needed some, they came one time and there was, we didn't have Chris's key because Chris unlocks the box where they have to stick in the pump. So we need Chris to pull that off. And maybe if he gave you the key, if you're there during the day, you can hand it off to them because you'll see them behind the fire station. Okay. We have a plan.
Sounds good. Okay, moving on. Becky, I was wondering if you had success with getting Jamrod out to check out the boiler and the issues, the water being turned off and.
Yes, I did. And he went through it. There was one instrument that he kept pointing to that explained why we didn't have
Pressure?
Yes. Is it the pressure? So he kept there's like an automatic thing that maintains. Okay. I think I need to have him come and talk to you because he didn't believe, he had a great answer for everything. There was this other instrument that was the reason that the water was off. Remember the water's off?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, that we were turning that off because of a leak. And then the fact we had no pressure when the water is turned off makes sense. That makes sense because we turned it off intentionally because this other machine that's over to the left will automatically turn things back on.
Okay.
And then about the mini splits, he said, Jeff, you never had them come back, but they installed your mini splits, right?
Jamrod, yeah.
Jamrog did. And
but I don't use them.
Right. So Jamrog came and they said it's Jeremy, right? Zabco. So Jeremy said that he had never heard of bad, the copper pipes going bad in a mini split. And that's the situation that PVE is talking about. And they talked to you about it, right, Jeff? And they're saying that on the 3 mini splits that PVE installed for us, that we need a $3,200 fix to keep them working because all the pipes have turned purple and gone bad. And Jeremy's response to that, it's not Jeremy. What is his name? Josh?
Jason.
Not Jeremy.
Jason. It's Jason. Thank you. So Jason said that he had never heard of such a thing, that wasn't possible. That can only happen if they used inferior pipes.
I don't believe it because it started with the insulation that Jamrod installed on our unit is what disintegrated. So I think
and yours fully disintegrated.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, because mine's purple.
Yeah.
And probably about to go. So again, Jamrog is saying, oh, that's not even possible. So that's not helpful.
The only thing I can say to that is whenever I've talked to the people at PVE and I've talked to, Jason when he installed, and I get the impression PVE is more trained.
Yeah.
And they go back and they do more training. So I would tend to believe them.
So. We had at our house, which was built in 2018, we have a mini split, and then we had the same company, and they changed names, so I don't know the name of the company, but I feel they're very reliable. But we had another mini split put in the second building, and I'm kind of surprised that they haven't contacted us to caution us about this insulation, because we have the same, it looks like the same insulation is on our refrigerant lines as on the ones at Town Hall. And I would think that, a company would proactively, if there's an issue, get in touch with folks. Then I also have the question, when they used to, when houses used to be plumbed with copper pipe all the time, if you had high acid levels, which was very common in Maryland, the acid in the water would react with the copper and degrade the copper, and eventually get these pinhole leaks. But the tattletale was this kind of marine blue-green stain that would often be residue that you might find where there's a faucet that drips or something like that. So I guess my question is, the purple color that they're saying is telling you that the copper is bad. I mean, first I question, is it that the copper is bad, or is that a sign that deterioration could be beginning? I mean, because, just a color character doesn't, in my mind, mean that it's automatically bad.
I think what they're saying is, though, the issue that you were talking about is the pipe disintegrating from the inside. These guys are saying, no, the pipe is being damaged from the outside.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah, so.
But it still has to eat through the copper.
Yeah, I think their point is eventually it would eat through the copper.
Right. So if you change the insulation, that seems to stop any deterioration.
That I don't know. I don't know if that stops it or
not. Well, that's a question I would have. And so I want to contact the company that put our mini splits in and see what they have to say.
What is the name of that company, Stephen?
Well, see, they changed now. I have to.
Did it used to be Western?
Hang on. Let's see if it wasn't, did you say Western?
Yeah, Western Mass.
No, it wasn't Western.
Okay.
Oh, yes, Western Mass, HVAC. Have you had any kind of interaction with them, Becky?
I know that Russ had worked with him. And then I learned that the mini split that was put in the library at the elementary school was installed by Western Mass. So I was just curious.
Well, I will touch base with them and see what they tell me.
What brand of mini split do you have?
Mitsubishi.
Okay. Because the ones we're talking about are Daikin. So just make sure you mention it's Daikin's.
Is that Daikin?
Correct.
Yeah, so what was his name? Daikin is what Josh, no.
That's what the highway department has.
Yeah.
That's what Jamwad pushes.
That's what's at the fire department.
Yep. Everybody until the last batch that I got all Mitsubishis at town hall and the library.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Okay.
Fire highway. But the bottom line, Stephen, is that we turn the heat on. I turn that switch back on. He told me that whether it's our choice, whether we want to turn the heat off in the winter or not.
You mean in the summer?
In the summer. We use it mostly for air conditioning, but so so that switch, he said, wasn't an issue. That's our choice. And then where the water was turned off, he said that the insurance company recommended that when it wasn't being used or something. And but he did fill up the tank. He brought the pressure back up on the tank. And so anything that wasn't just right, he said, well, they're coming to, because they come out and do an inspection, and they'll be out hopefully before the end of November. And I'm going to schedule that and have you come in if that's okay. Or if you,
what do you say about the flue pipe going downhill?
That needs to get fixed.
Okay. And so if you remember when, I first looked at the boiler, it was still during the heating season. And, there was no pressure in the gauge showing on the gauge when I first looked at it.
That was during the heating season? I thought it was later.
No, it was still during the heating season. It was towards the end, but it was still during the heating season. It wasn't until later I came back and looked at it again, and then it was summer, and that's when I talked to you about turning the power off to it.
Yep.
But see, for instance, okay, so now the boiler's turned on, right?
Yep.
But the next several days, you may not need heat at all. We're supposed to have 70-degree days. So the boiler is still going to sit there and heat up.
No, that's that automatic box that you didn't know about. There's a temperature relay on the outside of the building, and there's a wire that comes back in. And when it warms up, it tells the boiler and turns it off.
But in the summer, the boiler was warm before we turned it off. We can pay more attention to it, but maybe that's not working right.
It's very possible. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It would be nice if when Jamrod does come back, the building committee is represented in that meeting with a few of us.
Yeah, Becky said that she'd want to.
Yeah. We got you back, Becky.
Have us there. Okay. I'm going to need to leave in a few minutes because I have another engagement this evening that I'm going to have to get to. Is there anything else anybody can think of for a few minutes, or maybe we'll close the meeting now? Steve.
Yeah, I need you to come and check out the that storage building between the pole barn where the sand is and the bays where we park the trucks, because I think there's a little bit of black mold on the ceiling and the sheetrock, but it's got a like musty cardboard smell now, and we haven't brought anything else in there that would make it stink, except for maybe mold or mildew or something of that sort.
Are you talking about the heated room between the main building and the back buildings?
Yes.
Yeah. That little connector.
The connect. Yeah.
Okay.
And I just want to be sure you guys are all aware that the folks from the culvert job crushed the top of the septic when they were moving the culvert pieces out from behind the fire station. So if you notice, there's an open pit, and we're working on getting that repaired. And the MAS building and bridge will compensate the town for all costs.
And when's the road going to be open?
November 17th.
November 17th. Okay.
Hopefully, knock on wood.
She said that very confidently, so I'm going to hold her to it.
Okay. That was the first time they gave me an actual date, having checked with the subs. So that was this afternoon. It probably won't change till Monday.
Well, I hear the dump trucks every morning.
They're pulling diversion pipes out tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Cool. Steve, when is somebody typically at the highway department, or does it just depend?
Well, the back door, the door to that's out, the outside entrance is unlocked from 6 to 4.
You mean the one into that little building?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So when you walk into that room, you notice a moldy, musty odor?
My sinuses certainly do. I start to get that mildewy allergy thing going. And
Okay.
I've looked, because we haven't brought anything new in there. I even checked the vacuum to see if we had sucked up anything wet, and we hadn't. So nothing has changed except for all that rain we had.
Well, that could have changed some things.
Must be another leak. Yeah, another leak.
Okay. All right.
The elevator, the vent wasn't working in the elevator, but it turned out that it was a relay on the fire alarm causing that not to work. So that's been corrected, but we had to have both elevator and fire there to do it today. And we need new batteries in the lift in the front of the building. And they're coming back to make that installation in November, when hopefully you will all see them and have a ride in the elevator.
Oh, good.
And new windows.
And November
New video.
confirmed they're coming November 3rd. So
Awesome.
it's coming Friday. Keep your fingers crossed.
We don't want rain.
No, not rain. But even if there is rain, they're going to do the job anyway. We're going to leave to park all the big trucks around them so they can't leave until it's finished.
Sounds good.
Great.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. Do I hear a motion to close the meeting?
I motion that we close the meeting at 6:31.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Roll call. McGinn.
Aye.
Quackenbush.
Aye.
Sullivan.
Sullivan, aye.
Dalmas, aye. Thank you all.
Good night.
Thank you all.
Next meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right. Bye, Becky. Thank you.
Thank you all. Good night.